some answers, and then we can go ahead and discuss those. Have you achieved your financial goal through your career so far? If you haven't been in real estate for more than a year, go ahead and just write your current career that you have. So why or why not? Go ahead and just jot your answers down, and then we'll have a discussion.
And then I have a couple of attendees on the way, but they're a few minutes.
Okay. Now we're going to go to the next question, which is, what is the one thing that makes other real estate agents more successful than others? What do you think that is? Go ahead and write that down. Okay. Everybody has something down. We can go ahead and start discussing. So first of all, has anybody achieved their financial goal through their current career? Nobody? Okay. And why do you think that is?
I think that some corporations are not as flexible as being your own boss per se, like in real estate, where
Correct.
you can make your own time frames. They're just not as flexible for people with large families and things like that. So I think that that's one of the main reasons why I've kind of been bouncing around a little bit and come to the decision that I want to do this so that I can be there for my kids and also have a good career.
Yes. One of the things that somebody told me, and then I've heard it a couple of times since then, real estate is one of the very few careers that you can make your own income.
Yeah.
You really can make your own income, and it's unlimited income. There's a lot of tools and all the systems that we're going to be learning through Ignite that are going to teach you how to get to what you're to where you want to be financially. So what is the one thing that makes a real estate agent more successful than others? Because not all of us are the same. There's different realtors, different offices. What makes us a little bit different, or that particular mega agent different than other agents? What do you think that is?
Focus.
Focus, okay. Attitude. One of the biggest is lead generation. Okay? Lead generation, you have it in all kinds of business. Doesn't matter if you're a mechanic. If you're a mechanic, you need cars, right? How do you get cars? Well, you advertise. You let people know that you're a mechanic. You want their business. You have a shop. You do things to show people what is
Muted. Unmuted.
Oops, sorry about that. And it's not hard. It's just a lot of discipline. Everything that we do is discipline. And I want to share a story about myself. And I got my license in 2006. 2006, as you know, that was the top of the market, but it was also the down of the market. And I had my own business. I had a travel agency. And during that travel agency, I had a lot of clients, but my commissions are being cut, so I wasn't making a lot of money. And I had a son that wanted to go to college. I did not save for college for him, so I needed to figure out what better way to make additional money by selling some real estate on the side. So I went ahead and got my license, sold my first house, top of the market, $350,000, 3% commission. Got to get a check for like $9,000 and go, oh, this is easy, right? After that, boom, there was no sales. No sales. My mortgage was due. I didn't have enough money. I had been doing real estate for 3 months and I haven't had a sale. I had one in escrow and that was still a shaky deal. Wasn't sure if it was going to close. So I had to do what I thought was the most embarrassing thing and ask my mother for money. Okay? So my mother said, I'm not going to give you any money. I'm going to let you borrow your children's money. My mother has bank accounts for my children. And so she said, I'm going to take money away from them to give to you. That was like my down, I will never, ever, 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 ever do that again. Take money away from my kids. So that was my turning point. So I thought, well, if I can't do it real estate, I better go get a job, right? So I applied for a job. It was a regular job. It was an entry level job. It was, I think it was like $25,000 a year. I just need a job to make my mortgage. So I applied, and they made me go through, I don't know, several steps to go through the process. They wanted a bilingual person. I passed the test. And they gave me the panel. I passed that test. And then they tell me, oh, sorry, we gave the position to somebody else. And I said, well, I'm just curious, who did you give it to? They give it to a high school student. A person who had just graduated high school. They said, we felt that you were too overqualified because you've owned a travel agency before. So we didn't want to give you the job. So when somebody doesn't give me what I'm looking for, it basically, I want to prove them wrong. So what I did is I said, okay, if I was willing to take a job that paid $25,000 a year, and it was from 9 to 5, I'm going to dedicate 9 to 5 every single day to go to work. Pretend I'm going to that job and get $25,000. By doing that, every morning, drop off my kids at school, go to my job, I lead generated. Didn't know I was doing lead generation. Nobody taught me how to do lead generation. This is what we're going to teach you here. So by doing that, that spurred momentum. Every day I didn't get off work till 5:30. If I had a showing, I would go in later, but then I still had an 8-hour day, Monday through Friday. That was my mindset. And that's what we want to do here in Ignite, is change the way you think, okay? So by doing and setting a plan of going to work from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday or Saturday, that year, I ended doubling or tripling the amount of income I would have gotten on that job that I wanted to apply for that did not get. So what I'm trying to say is, this right here is really a little bit too much for me because I'm going back in time, as it was the most horrible time of my life. But I decided that I wasn't going to be a victim. I wasn't going to let the market dictate how much money I could make. Of course, the market had gone down. I dedicated myself from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday, and I was either on the phone or learning on how to say, what to say, doing these things. So that's all I'm asking you to do. If you dedicate from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, doing some of the systems that Ignite's going to prepare you for, it's going to teach you some habits. It's going to teach you different things. And I go, I'm going to go do it as a job. After a while, it just became so natural, so easy, and I really have fun with it now. Okay. So anyway, that's a little bit about who I am and why I'm showing you guys that just anybody can do this, okay? You just have to be disciplined on getting it done. So that's the difference between somebody who just gets a license and waits for that business to come. I chose not to wait for the business to come. I chose to go do something about it. Be in the office 8 to 5, get the walk-ins, talk to people, those kinds of things, okay? So there's one thing that can propel your career to go forward. And the secret is very simple. It's just lead generation. Sorry, technical difficulty.
Tanya, last year.
Around 6% perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So, mindset matters and attitude matters. So that's why I gave you guys my story, so that you understand why it's really important to me that you guys can do it. You have your own story. You have your own reason as to why you're wanting to sell real estate and be in this business. One of the good things about this particular job or business that we're in real estate is we get to interact with other people. You get to know and be part of their lives. So you want to open up your mind that you are not here as to sell something. You're here to contribute to the process of their purchase or their sale of the particular home. With you going in with that mindset and thinking about the client a little bit better, understanding their needs, you'll be able to give from contribution instead of trying to sell them something that you don't necessarily even think you would buy yourself. Okay? Now, we have 6 personal perspectives in the Ignite program. The most successful at this business know that it takes certain type of mindset and attitude that keep it every day and special to itself. Fortunately, Keller Williams Realty has the foundation and models to change your mindset. And Gary Keller, did she take my little clicker?
Making sure it works.
Okay. We're going to be talking about 6 personal perspectives: the self-mastery, the 80-20 principle, the E to P, and we'll learn about these in the next couple of sections. Learning to be learning-based. 5, no limiting beliefs. We all have limiting beliefs. Even I have limiting beliefs, and sometimes I have to kind of take myself and I say, okay, go back to this part and get this corrected. And we all have to be accountable. One of the things about this Ignite program, you all started here today, and there's going to be additional courses, and we want you to be here for every single one. Every single time that you're here, phone should be off. You should be present. You should be here on time. Ask questions, interact. It's okay to ask questions. Nobody has a wrong or right answer. Everybody does it a little bit different. So ask questions. That way you'll learn a little bit more. So during Ignite, you're going to be getting what they call a mission statement. It'll be at the end of every single section. And it's going to be for the following course. So it gets you ready for the following course. So it's going to give you homework, and this will be some of your homework. It's going to give you the expectations and also some of the ground rules. It's going to give you an access to different videos that you can click on so that you can be prepared for the next class. Okay. We want you to be prepared. We want to make sure that if you already have your license and you already have e-edge, make sure you have a PW email address. That will be very helpful. Make sure you bring note cards with you because you'll be writing some thank you cards during some of the assignments. And Ignite Home Base, that's on the KW e-edge program. You can go ahead and log in and get some more information. Those videos are going to have what is the one way Gary Keller says it takes to achieve success in real estate. What are some of the habits of a high-performing agent? And what are your ahas from Follow the Models? What are your ahas about KW technology? We want you to ask questions. We want you to, if something clicks, write it down. Write it down and share it. That way you remember it. Okay, so we're gonna go to commit to sales mastery on page number 8. Okay, possession of great knowledge and skills and habits that make you the master of you. When you commit to achieving self-mastery, you know what your goals are. So you want to know what you want to do financially, physically, mentally. Know what your strengths are, what are your weaknesses. You're going to be learning a lot of habits, a lot of skills that are going to help you become very successful. Some of those skills would be learning scripts. A lot of people are afraid of scripts, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you want to master it. You want to, whatever it is that you want to do, focus on one item and master it so that you know it well. If you want to be a master of knowing the real estate contract, read it several times. Read multiple forms. When you have your real estate, you have the WIN forms, go through each form. You will learn more about real estate by just reading some of those forms. So if that's what you want, read the forms. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you still don't get it, talk to somebody who's been an agent and what scenario could play out with particular forms. So whatever it is that you want to do, master that particular item. We're also, step 2 is commitment to the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle, does anybody know what that is? Yeah, okay. The 20 is the idea that 20% of your action leads to 80% of your actual results. So if you work 20% of your day, which is your lead generation, which is what we want you to do because we want you to have as many clients as possible. And I'll give you an example. I started off as a buyer's agent. I had lots of buyers. I had like 10 buyers. And of the 10 buyers, 3 buyers can only buy up to $150,000. They were all 3 USDA. They all wanted to buy in Calusa, nowhere else. So I've got 3 buyers and thinking, oh wow, I have this, the house is on the market, it's 145 and I can go ahead and sell this particular house. And turns out I didn't sell it because they didn't like it. So that clicked, the light bulb clicked. I need to have more buyers that like certain types of houses to be able to get it. So I would be showing sometimes 2 to 3 buyers one house and maybe only one will make an offer. But if I only have the one buyer, then they may or may not buy that particular house. Okay? So just because you have a certain person or certain buyers in a certain price range doesn't mean they're going to buy the house that comes in that price range. They may not like it. They may not like the neighborhood. They may not like the neighbors. And you thought you had it sold. Wrong. But if you have more buyers, you can show it to them and you have a better possibility of selling that home if you have more than one buyer. Does that make sense? Okay. So we want to be able to work this 20%. We want to be able to have lots of leads. So because if we do have those leads, we have a better possibility of selling something. The other 20% is basically paperwork. Trying to catch up paperwork, trying to do inspections, trying to talk to the lender, the appraiser. That's the 80% of your work. So 20% is actually getting the client. So we really, really want to focus on that 20% on getting as many clients as we can possibly have in our pipeline.
So the 80%, the 80% is like your paperwork?
Yeah.
Not what you're...
What we want to focus on is only the 20%, which is getting clients, which is lead generation.
Okay.
And the 80% is all the other stuff.
Okay.
It's all the other stuff that doesn't bring us money.
Okay.
Okay? Leads bring us money.
Right.
Paperwork doesn't bring us money. Okay? But it takes 80% to do. It's a lot of work. So if we focus on the 20%, we will always have the income that we want. Step 3 is the E to P model. This is where An E is basically like an employee. You go to your job, you get paid, you get a check. You're an employee. We can treat our business as an employee. Well, I can't say that word. Help me out, God.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I can't say it. I can't roll like that. You can either treat yourself like that, or you can treat yourself like a professional. So if you're just winging it, if you're not purposeful, you're going to be like an employee. Go do the work, you get paid for what you do. You can work 8 hours and only sell one item. Or if you want to be purposeful and be a professional, you want to lead generate, to be able to cause. We are in a business. We are with Keller Williams, but we are our own business. We are our own owner. We are the owner. So if we treat it like we are the owner, we have a business. We have to have a business plan. We need to know what our goals are. We need to know what our expenses are. We need to know how much money we need to bring every month. And so these are some of the tools that we're going to show you how to calculate what to do to get you to that point. If you're just an employee, you just show up, somebody walks in, somebody doesn't walk in, you walk out, and that's what you sell. Well, we want to treat it as if this was your own business, because it is your own business. So that's the difference between other agents who are not as successful. When they don't treat it as a business, their own business, their business will not grow. Okay? It'll just stay the same. Learning based. All of you are here because you're learning based. You guys are wanting to learn. So we notice that high achievers and high producers constantly go to classes to learn more, to hear what other agents have to say. One of the things that I've learned is that everybody views certain things different ways. Even buyers, even our sellers, they have a different view of the market. But we want to be able to see all sides of it. So we need to learn from other people in different areas. Luxury homes, not much different than lower end homes. It's just the quality of the home, but the whole thing is really exactly the same. So it's the way you perceive it. I used to think I couldn't sell $1 million house, and I got to thinking about it. That's probably so much more easier than a house that is only $99,000. So I have my skills because I've been selling all these lower end homes. I can actually sell a luxury home now. So, but for a long time I didn't think that I could because it was a luxury home, and it wasn't that it couldn't be sold. It's just the way that I had perceived it. So by talking to other agents who actually do luxury homes, I figured that this is a lot easier, So it's a way that your perspective. So you want to be learning based. You want to be able to learn, take advantage of the Keller Williams education that we have, especially a lot of the free items that we have, a lot of the videos. Hear from people who have been doing it for many years. You're going to get a lot of tips, and you'll find common themes throughout. They all have limiting beliefs that they realize that they got to get rid of those limiting beliefs and push forward and be consistent. One of the biggest things that I had as an aha is be consistent. Stay on schedule. Put it on your schedule. Have a schedule. Because if you don't have a schedule, you're not going to get the things done that you need to get done, especially if you have goals. And as professionals, we want to be professionals. We want to have certain goals, whether it be money, whether it be time, whether it be vacations or financial things or maybe you want to buy a car. That could be your goal. So step 5 is remove your limiting beliefs. Okay, this is on page 10. So in order to successfully develop or higher level, you'll need to clear your mind of limited beliefs first. For example, think of this one. I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business, or I'm not valid yet. So somebody who doesn't have a license, how do you feel about this comment?
I feel like I'm on my way.
Right. Okay. So, and then I can't be successful yet. I need to invest a lot of money to kickstart my real estate career. Does anybody have that kind of limiting belief? Does anybody have a different limiting belief that we can talk about right here and maybe change it around?
I had the first one for the longest time.
Yeah? Okay. Well, here's the thing about that one.
I don't anymore, but I did.
No, you're right, exactly. Well, let's just say if you come back to it and say, let's just say we don't do farm, right? And you're scared of farm. Well, just learn. Or ask somebody who does farming, who does ag, or commercial. A lot of people are scared to do commercial. They back it away or give it away. Embrace it. I want to learn. So I've got this opportunity. Let me find a commercial agent. Let me talk to somebody who's selling commercial. Let me talk to them. Let me get a feel for. People are willing to talk. Other agents are willing to help you if you ask. So the expertise is around you. You just have to ask. Okay? And also you'll become, after you do multiple transactions, you'll learn that you'll get easier, faster, especially the contract. I was scared of going over the contract because everybody kept telling me it only takes a half an hour to go over the contract. And I'm thinking, every time I do it, it takes me an hour and a half, So I felt really awkward and I always wanted somebody else to help me. And finally I just realized I was just going in detail, that my personality is to detail everything. And there are certain buyers that they don't want detail, they just want a summary. So that once I figured that out, then it would be, some buyers do want you to go through detail by detail, but you become an expert as you do more and more. So don't be afraid. If you want somebody to be at your side, we have, Dawn, we have other agents in our office that can also help you out. Well, you don't have to be successful. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't need to go buy Trulia ads. You don't need to buy Zillow ads. You don't need to go buy DocuSign so that you have DocuSign, sign electronically. You don't need any of that. If you have a piece of paper and a pen, you can get things done without money. A lot of it is interaction. For me, it was very difficult because I typically tend to shy away from crowds. I don't really like a lot of crowds. I don't like a lot of noise. But I had to be purposeful in my business if I needed to be successful. I needed to make an appearance in crowds. Even last night, felt like staying home. It's a Sunday night. I really didn't want to go anywhere. So got my strength up and I said, I got to be purposeful, right? Because I'm teaching this class, I got to tell you what I do. So I got dressed and we went to a potluck, and it was purposeful to talk to people that instead of sitting down at the table and just eating, I actually was purposeful to go say hello to every person or every other person that was around in that room. By doing that, I got a lead. If I would have sat home, watched TV, I wouldn't have got a lead. But I had actually a good time, but I didn't have to stay there very long. If I go purposefully and say hello, you're going to get a lead. People want to talk to you about real estate. So wherever you are, be just purposeful about it. On our table, wasn't expecting. Somebody sat down on our table because they wanted to talk about real estate. So, it just happens. Especially if you wear your name tags. Name tags help a lot, So make sure you wear your name tag. People will make conversation with you if you don't initiate the conversation. So wear your name tag, yeah.
Do you wear your name tag just when you're out and about?
Yes.
Really?
Grocery store.
Yeah.
Love the grocery store. Every time I go to the grocery store, I kid you not, I would say probably about 80% of the time that I go to the grocery store and I have my name tag on, somebody wants to talk to me about real estate. will approach me, or I'll see somebody at the grocery. I'm purposeful to acknowledge anybody that I know. It's not something that it comes natural to me, but I do it anyway because I want people to know that I acknowledge them. Because when I need them for my business, okay, I need anybody for my business. It's not necessarily on a one-to-one, am I going to buy or sell with them, but they could be a referral base. Somebody that's going to refer me to somebody. And what this does is it reminds them that I'm in real estate without even talking about real estate. By just saying hello and they see my name tag, they know that I'm working. So it's their permission to ask questions. That's why I wear the name tag. Okay? So that's being purposeful. And also, so if you think that this could be a limiting, I don't want to wear my name tag so people want to talk to me. Well, you're in the business. You know, it's like actors, you know. Why do people bother me for autograph? Well, you're an actor, you know. Like all hearing things is expected. So it's the same thing. That's the way I think about it. I'm in this business, and I need them, so obviously I'm going to be wearing my name tag.
You could always be coming from a meeting, from Shorter House.
It doesn't matter. You know, I just got to the habit that I put my name tag along with my watch. So my watch and my name tag are always, of course, if I'm going to church, I take it off. But I've been caught with it on that church too. So you don't need a lot of money. What you do need is be able to communicate to people what you do as your job or your business, or this is my business, this is what I do. So who do you know that's looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate? Number 6 is being accountable. I'm here because you guys are here, okay? If I knew nobody was going to be here, I wouldn't be here. I would probably stay in Calusa and did some work today. In the morning, 8 o'clock, I do scripts. I have to be up and ready by 8 o'clock because my script partner is going to call me at 8 o'clock. Whether I had a bad night, I suffer from insomnia, so sometimes I don't go to bed till about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But 8 o'clock, I'm up. You do scripts too?
No, I don't go to sleep until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Not by choice, but
Yeah.
I start work at 4.
Oh, okay. But I only get sometimes only 4 hours of sleep, but 7:45 or before, I'm already up because I know I'm going to get a call, or it's my turn to call for scripts, because at 8 o'clock is when we begin scripts, right on the dot. So
And you want coffee first, right?
coffee or not, it's 8 o'clock. I could want coffee. But I have to be there. I have to be present because I'm accountable for that person and that person vice versa. So we want to make sure that we always want to have that. Some people want coaches or need coaches so that you are accountable. There's a 8 o'clock mega conference call for half an hour every other Monday. No matter where anybody is at, whether you're dressed or not, this is an actual video mega agent conference call. So people see what you have. You have to get dressed. You have to put on a face. You have to be ready to go. So even if I had a bad night, I still have to be ready at 8 o'clock in the morning to get online and do this call. 12 o'clock was my coaching. So immediately following our office meeting, go to coaching. I didn't have time to talk. I didn't have time because I was accountable for me showing up. Otherwise, it's like hiring a trainer, physical trainer. You're paying him money. You want to be present. He has to be present. He's getting paid, right? So when you are self-employed, you can say, I'm the boss. I can do whatever I want. I can take the day off. I can do this. But you're not going to get paid. You don't show up, you don't get paid. Whatever we do today shows up in 90 days. If I don't go to work today, in 90 days, I'm going to be crying I didn't have any money. Right? So you always want to change your mindset. Even though you are self-employed, even though you are an independent contractor, and you are your own boss. There are certain things that you do have to do that are structure and systems that you have to put in place if you want to be successful. Okay, if you have access to my KW, there are the other 6 personal perspective videos that you can actually go online and take a look and get a little bit more information on the 6 perspectives, the self-mastery, the 80-20 principle, the E to P, the learning base, no limiting beliefs, and accountability. Okay, so to get the most out of this particular experience of Ignite, there's the missions that you will see here will be at the back or at the end of the session for the following session. So you will see those. We want you to be involved, talk, not have to check your emails, not have to check text message during the time that we're going through Ignite, because in that way, whether it might distract me or might distract another student that's in the class. If you walk out, I'm going to say, go ahead, and if you need to use the restroom, I don't have a problem with that. But in the other classes, make sure that we want to be respectful to the instructor. So we want you to be present. We don't want you to have other distraction during the time that you're in the class. Okay, the action reveal. Okay, I believe Dawn is the one that's going to keep you accountable for your mission. So the mission, like I said before, is going to be your homework. So there's going to be different things on that it's going to have the expectations for the following class and some other additional rules. Okay, we are here, this is a new Ignite, and the focus of this new Ignite, or this particular class called Ignite, is we want you to cap. We want you to be all cappers. And for the new people, does anybody doesn't know what a capper is? Okay. A capper is once we paid all our fees to Keller Williams to the maximum amount, you become 100% commission based. So we want to make sure that you reach your goal so you can cap and then become 100%, get 100%. So if you're looking at, for instance, if your gross commission, I'm just using, we have $18,000 office. This is just an example. Every office is different and yours could be different, but, and then we have 3 to the, what do you call it, the franchise fee here. There's, like, say, 21,000. To reach the 18, you need to make $90,000 in gross commission. When we subtract the 21, your net commission is 69,000. Anything after 90,000 is 100%. So if you make 100,000 here, you actually made 79,000 after paying these items. That's when we talk about being capped. Once you cap or pay this into the company, this is what you'll be capping. I mean, you'll cap this, you'll net that. Does that make sense?
But what a capper is you won't be paying any more, once you
Right.
cap, you don't pay any more commission.
Right. So whatever here that you go up above this, you just add down here.
Yeah, so if you double, let's say, instead of doing 90,000, you do $180,000 a year, that next 90,000 is yours.
That's correct.
So, I mean, hypothetically, could you buy out your cap?
I did it.
Really.
Mhm.
I've been wanting that for a while, thinking about it.
Yeah, I did it. I just, because I knew I was gonna cap anyway. So when I moved to Keller Williams, my goal was to cap as fast as possible. Well, no, not at first, not at first. And usually you have this is based on like an 80-20 split, okay? If you want to do a 70-30 split, you're gonna cap a lot quicker. You want to give them 50% off the bat, sure, you're gonna cap at 36,000. See what I'm saying? So, or you can, I had one really, really good month, and I had, my anniversary was the first of the year, and then, sorry, the 1st of December, and the first week, I think I made, into my anniversary, I made $20,000 commission. So I just said, take everything out,
I would too.
because everything else the whole year was 100%. So you have so many ways to do this. You can always talk to Justin or Peter about all of this, but just keep in mind, if you're in an 80-20 split right now, you just have to hit 90,000. If you hit 90,000, you'll make 69,000.
And anything up over and above that.
Plus, then you add is yours. Yeah. Okay, so that's what a capper is. Once you hit those numbers, then 100% is yours. So any commission that you make above that is yours. So we want to declare a personal why. What is causing you? First of all, let's go ahead and make a goal. You guys can just write down a little tiny goal of what you want to do financially or personally. So let's just use this as an example. Goal is to cap, do 90,000. Okay? Could be money, could be a vehicle, how much money. Sometimes what I do is I go ahead and make a budget, my home budget, and I say, okay, I need a minimum of this for my home budget. Of course, then I have to add in taxes, and then I have to add in insurance and all of that, and that's really where I want to be. So I kind of go up from that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, but like I explained to you in the very beginning, my big why was knowing that I was had the travel agency and it wasn't really making a lot of money. I had a lot of business, but the commissions were cut so low, and I could not ask at that time for fees. People did not want to pay fees. So my big why is, how am I going to get my son who wants to go to college, who worked really hard to get his grades to where he wanted to go to college, and now I didn't have any money for college to help him out. So my big why was a monetary amount so that he could go to college. That's one of the reasons why I changed to real estate, to be able to make as much money or possible, to be able to meet not only my household financial needs, but also allow him to go to college. Every year my why changes. I have a new why. I'm going to Europe next year. So I'm going to add to my goal. That's going to be 2 weeks, and I want to live and go on vacation like money is not a problem. If I want to buy something, I'll buy it. If I want to do an excursion, I want to do it. If I want to go on a helicopter ride, I'm going to do it. So my goal, I already have monetary goals that I've added to my budget to allow me to get to where I want to be for next year. Okay? So go ahead and declare your big why. Some of it could be you want to buy a house if you don't have one, or pay off your house. Sorry, I'm still learning these slides here. Okay, skill one is know your big why and your monetary goals. What drives you is not only your mindset and your attitude, but what you're passionate about. What stirs your soul? That's on page number 17. Why are you in this business of real estate? You go ahead and write some of your notes down there. What do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family by being in the business of real estate? Okay. We're going to go over to page number 18. Like I said, in real estate, you can make as much money as you choose to make. It's your choice. Your actions will determine how much money you're going to make. To have financial success, you have to realize that you're not getting paid a salary. So, but you can make as much money as you want, depending on what you focus on. So on here, on page number 18, write down the date, like say 12 months from now. And write the date in there, we'll write today's date. And now imagine that your business is thriving and your life is everything you dreamed of. Your customers are raving about you, about the experience and the value that you're providing. And they're thinking about you when they think about real estate, they think about you. Your family and friends are actually looking at you and know that you're very successful. People are coming to you because you're helping them get to their dream home or first home. So think about this a year from now. Think that you're a top agent in the market center or the rookie of the year. And you're getting ready to hire your first assistant because you got way too much business. You want that your assistant to do 80% of your work so that you can do 20% of the business. Now, as you're thinking this, go to page number 19. What's going to drive you? So let's go ahead and answer a few minutes here and answer these questions on page 19. What is or was the driving motivation, the big why or the goal for the career in real estate? What does achieving your goal mean for you? How will your life change? What doors will be opened by achieving your goals? Okay, let's go ahead and turn to page 20 if you haven't finished there. And from your answers on the previous page, just write one statement that summarizes your big why. Your big why can be anything. Could be going on a cruise, could be buying a house, could be buying a second house, could be buying a brand new car, sending your kids off to college. You've got a lot of reasons why you want to be in real estate.
Hands down, I want to take a picture.
Oh, good. Okay, now you can, phone is on, or you can do this later. You can actually take a picture of your big why. One of the reasons why you want to take a picture of it is because you want to see it, you want to internalize it. I don't have my big why on my phone, but I do somewhat have it's on my, not on, just my phone's not on. But when I turn on my phone, my wallpaper on here, it tells me why I'm getting up every morning. It tells me, it's my affirmation of why I get up in the morning and why I do the things that I do. And when I look at that and I didn't do it, it brings me back to reality. I have to do this. This is what I chose to do. It's my choice. You know, you can change this at any time because things change, life changes. But I put it on my phone. I look at it, I don't know, multiple times because it's on my wallpaper. It tells me how much money I want to make. It tells me how many hours I want to work. It makes me, I want to hire an assistant by the end of the year. So it tells me about how many transactions I need to have so that I can get my assistant. Because once I get my assistant, I know how much more money I can make. Because then I don't have to do the 80%. I can work only on my 20%. Okay? So all your whys, by looking at it, you start seeing it. I used to think $1 million was a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But now that I have $1 million on my refrigerator and I look at it every day when I open it up to get whatever I need out of there, that $1 million becomes more realistic. Every time that I look at that and I internalize is what you focus on expands. So once you see that, it seems like that number is not really that big. It's actually kind of small. So it's starting to become real. Every year it becomes closer and closer to that number. So it really does work. But you have to believe it. You have to believe that number will be yours. Your $1 million may not be your number. It could be 150,000. Put it on the refrigerator. You start seeing that number, and you'll start seeing how much money you're making, and you'll realize you need to work a little harder, or you need to implement certain things in your business so that you can see that a little bit clearer and make that your big why. Or if your big why is put your kids through, mine was for a while, was put my kids through Catholic school. I want to make sure that they went through the private school, all three of them. That was my big why. I had it on I had a vision board then, and I had it on there. So it does work. Let's go, okay, now that you have a big why, how much money is it going to take to fund that life or that big why? So on page 21, we want to go ahead and write your annual money goal. Okay, on page 21, it's going to give you an example of commissions, gross GCI. For the purposes of the book, we're going to use the average sales price of $200,000. And the commission is 3%. Now, realistically, your market could be different. My market is probably less than $200,000, and the average commission is about 2.5%. So I make adjustments to that. So just keep in mind for the purpose of this, it's going to be this. So a sales price of $200,000, commission at 3%, your gross commission earned is going to be $6,000. So what you want to do is want to figure out, to get that number that you have on page 21, how many of those, how much money do you need to make, or how many transactions will you need to make in order to get the 200,000? Well, let's just use, I'm sorry, I'm using 200,000 for our sales
It
price.
is supposed to be our net, or, you know what I'm saying?
This is all gross. Gross, yeah. So if you want, okay, remember that 69,000 over here?
It's 90.
Well, we did, the gross was 90,000, but after the capping, let's just say you capped and you actually netted 69, right? That's the number that I would use. How much money did you put down on page 21?
And that's still not really a net, because you're not taking out your business
No.
expenses.
No, you could have your gas, you can add all of these things, that paper, ink, all of that. Yeah. So we're just kind of keeping it, keeping it simple. So if you wanted, okay, if you go to page 22, you can actually go to, let's just say the average sales price is 200,000 and the average commission is 3%. So you're gonna be, your gross commission earned is gonna be $6,000. So if you, for instance, were a 30-70 agent, your split was 30-70, you could, and the cap was $20,000 at the market center, because every market center is a little bit different. And then the royalty is capped at $3,000, the total is 21. That's kind of what I was doing earlier with the one for the 90,000, that 80-20 split. That's how you would actually figure out how much money that, okay. So if we want to net, okay, so you want to net, if we go to page 23, if you want to net 100,000, in the market center cap between your split and the royalty is 23,000. You add those two together, and the total amount, that commission that you would need to earn, would be 123,000. And then if the average commission is $6,000, you're going to divide that into the 123. It's going to tell you that your annual goal for transactions should be 21. So if you want to use your number from page 21 and put that number goal down there and make, I don't know, what is it in Yuba City around here? You guys know better than me.
What,
Average sales price.
20, 50, right? 25 to 50,
Okay, so it's over 200,000, and the average commission is about 2.5, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say 200, and so $5,000. So if you want to make 100,000 based on page 23, and the market center cap total is 23,000, then what you would need to do is divide the 5,000 into the 123. And that's how many transactions that you're going to need to actually close. These are closed transactions. So page 24 is actually going to give you an area where you can write your own net gross post income commission earned. Goal would be there. Then you put your market center cap, you add those two together, the average commission per transaction, and then you divide it. And that's how many transactions you're going to need to do.
Does everybody have the same market center cap here at Kelly Moments?
We pretty much all have the same one. Some people have a little bit different splits, different because of different scenarios, but they can, they're pretty much, I think it's 18. It's 18 and 18,000 and 3 for the royalty.
Okay,
So
it is
you'd
the
be
21.
looking, so you're looking at the 21.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so once you know how much money you want to make, now we have to commit to daily lead generation. For every day you lead generate, 90 days later, you can expect no money or money, depending on what you do. If you're not working today, then 90 days, you shouldn't expect a check. So if you work tomorrow, probably 90 days. Now, if you're purposeful, now if you show up and not do anything, then that's not being purposeful. But if you're purposeful on your day, 90 days, you should have a check-ish, give or take, depending on trades. So if you look on page 25, they give you an example. If you were in real estate, and real estate was a factory, in step 1, you work 2 hours, that would be step 1. Then step 2 would be 2 hours, and then step 3 would be 2 hours, And step 4 would be another 2 hours, so a total of 8 hours. That's what actually would work. But in real estate, there are patterns. You have to lead generate. Lead generate is going to cost you appointments. Appointments are going to cost you contracts or agreements. Oh, okay, they have it backwards there, okay. So they have agreements, meaning you have an agreement with the seller to sell or with a buyer to represent them. And then contracts, you actually write a contract to get them engaged into an escrow. And then you have the actual closing. So that, all that takes 90 days. So if you have a buyer that's actively looking and you've got a new buyer and he's already pre-qualified and that's your lead generation, then you set up your appointment to show that a buyer home. And you sign an agreement to represent them, and they write an offer on a property, which would be your contract, and you get it to close. That should take about 90 days. Now, you could work with a buyer for more than 90 days total. You could work with a buyer for a year, because maybe they were a C buyer and you were treating them like an A buyer. You only want to work with A buyers because, well, you want to work with all of them, but you want to pay more attention to your A buyers because they're going to buy now. They're probably going to get something closed in the next 30 to 60 days. Okay. For the people that are already in real estate in this class, most of you sign a buyer agent agreement?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because then they're not your client. You can be spending time with somebody else's client, yeah.
And you don't push them to, you don't, long story short, I had a buyer that totally disregarded my BRA sign.
Yeah.
So make sure you get on them. Make sure they know what it actually means.
Yeah, and I had one that I trusted because I knew him, and they went out and bought something without me, so I'll never do it again.
And be consistent on it.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're a professional, right? Lawyers are not going to do stuff for free. They want an agreement before they start working for that client. And that's all we're doing, is we would just want an agreement. I'm going to commit 100% of my time, because if you don't want to work with me, that's fine. I have other people that will work with me. And I have when you get stronger in your ability for people to trust you and know what you do, you'll have a line of people wanting to work with you, okay? I just got a new client, I think Thursday, and she already wrote an offer and possibly will have an accepted because we signed a buyer agent agreement. She knew up front. What I like about a buyer, I'm going off tangent here, but what I like about a buyer agent agreement is the fact that you can tell them up front. If we find something that you like that's on a multiple listing, you do not have to pay me any commission. The seller will. If I find you a house that's not on the multiple listing that you would like to purchase, then you would be paying my commission. You don't have to sell just what's on the MLS. You can sell things that are not on the multiple listing. It could be a for sale by owner. You can still sell it. You can have somebody who calls and say, you know what, I really, really like that lot. Can you find out who it belongs to and see if we have an agreement? They can pay your commission. Think outside the box. Don't do what other agents are doing. You think that you are somebody that has a real estate license who helps buyers buy and sellers sell. And if two mutual people have an agreement on something, you can sell it. If you don't know what forms to use, call somebody in the office. It can be done. That's what we do. And once you treat yourself like that, people are willing to pay your commission. I had one last week that I want to buy this house and I want to pay you X dollars. And I said, are you sure? He goes, sure. And I told the seller, I go, if somebody wants to buy your house, they go, we want you to represent me. I go, okay. This is my fee. So I'm getting paid on both sides.
Very diligent.
The buyer wants representation, the seller wants representation, you can get paid. There's different ways to think about, if you're thinking outside the box and you can't, how do I do this? Call me. I'll tell you how to do it. Okay? So it can be done. So on average, if you do have a signed contract between 1 to 60 days, you're going to have found something for that particular buyer. So the other 30 days is basically to get them through escrow. Okay? And in 90 days, you'll have a check. Now, if you don't have a buyer-agent agreement, you don't really have them. They're really not your client. You're just showing them houses because you like showing them houses. And I've done that. I've shown it and they've gone to somebody else, you know. Or I've got somebody and then, you know, I know they've seen homes with other agents and I've been very, you know, I'm not going to put you on priority unless you sign my agreement. If you don't sign my agreement, then you will not be my priority. I have more than one buyer for this particular house. One of them will get it. You're not my priority. Okay? That's why I don't give free advice. So, you know, unless it's my mom. The other thing is that when you get paid, you know, that's not all spending money. That's, you know, you have to also think about that you have to take your expenses out for taxes and insurance and for gas and all of those things. So keep that in mind. People think that they have a check, they can go ahead and spend or buy whatever they want. So, and also think about your pipeline. Think about, am I going to get paid? When's my next paycheck? If I get this one closed today, when am I expecting another paycheck? I had one that's been ready to close for 90 days already. It was supposed to close 90 days ago, but every week they tell me it'll close this week. It'll close this week, and it's not closing. But we've kept it alive. You know, my job is to keep things alive. Both sides want to keep it alive. But for whatever reasons, title issues, tax issues that show up at the last minute, you can't always expect that many. So you always want to make sure that you have a lot of leads, clients in your pipeline so that you don't lose that traction. So you know that maybe 2 or 3 may fall out during the week. So if you have 5 for the month, 2 may fall out. But as long as the 3 will cover your expenses, then you're fine. Don't always expect that those are going to happen because you have to. That's why you want to have as many as you can through the pipeline, or save your money. You don't want to save it too. Okay, so. What you want to do is you want to create a funnel. If you want to go to page 27, you want to create a funnel. And leads are not people that necessarily are going to buy or sell. Leads can be people that can give you other leads, okay? People that you know of influence, that you know a lot of people who can influence other people. If you've never met them and somebody gives you a lead to meet them, that is a lead. That is a hot lead. I think it's a hot lead because they have a lot of influence on a lot of people. An example would be an attorney. An attorney, if you get to know an attorney who does divorces, you really want to talk to that person. You want to start and engage with that person because that person's going to give you leads for possible listings on where they have to liquidate a home. So you want to make sure that, so keep in mind that leads are not just people that are going to buy or sell, but actually people that are going to give you other leads, okay? The leads are going to lead you to appointments. You want appointments. You want the buyers to commit to you. You want them to sign an agreement because it'll lead to contracts. I never knew this. I didn't know this the way it's being explained here. All I knew is that I needed to have appointments in my calendar. If I didn't have an appointment on my calendar for a particular, or I have appointments every day of my calendar. If I don't have an appointment for that day, I need to fill it. I need to do whatever it takes to get an appointment on that particular date. I'm not going to go to the office and not have an appointment. I need an appointment. If that means talking to people early in the morning, I will do that. A lot of people, one of the limiting beliefs is that they're not up, they're at work. 7:45 in the morning is the perfect time to call people. Text them. I can be texting to 10 different people about a certain property or talking to a seller at 7:45 because they're getting ready to go out the door, whatever it is. I get more business done at 7:45 in the morning than I do any other time. And I have to get it done because at 8 o'clock I start my scripts. So sometimes, depending on who it is, I might even start as early as 7:30. Farmers, you can start at 6. You know, they're already up. 6 o'clock, that's the best time to reach them. So make sure you get appointments. Without the appointments, you can't show property or sign listings. Without the appointments, you can't get into contract. You need the appointments. Appointments are very important. Okay, during Ignite, we're going to be calling people. So make sure you have your phone with you or a database or phone numbers to call because we want you to get used to calling people. It's going to be very awkward calling if you've never called for the first time, but we want you guys to call. And every single of the Ignite classes, you'll be making phone calls. And the reason we want to make phone calls is we want to get a lead. We want to get an appointment. We want something. We want something showing on our calendar. The other thing that we're going to be doing is you're going to be doing, getting ready to lead generate and make that a habit. This 10-4 means that you're going to be taking 10 new contacts and adding them to your database daily. So if you do this Monday to Friday, by Friday you should have 50 contacts in your database. We're also going to be, and then there's 4 actions that entail, that's why you have the number 4. So we're going to be learning about the 10-4 in this next section here. Does anybody need to take a break to go to the restroom or anything? I keep going, okay. Okay, so to get 10 people into your database, you're also going to need to talk to at least 10 people, right? Say, you know what, I just want to make sure that you know I'm in real estate, and I would love to take your email address to send you any updates that we may have, activities or anything new that might be interesting that you could forward on to other people. And through the eEdge program, there's some automatic emails that can be sent directly, and you don't have to think about it. We want to also write 10 notes to people, the 10 notes to thank them for talking to us today, and get used to doing that. That way, another way that you can get an address for them. So if they don't want to give you, if you have their phone number, but you don't have their email or their address, one way to get that would be to ask them for their address so that you can send them a thank you card, okay, for talking to them. Also, if you want to follow up with somebody, a little card would be good. You can buy this at the dollar store for $1. You can buy like 25 for $1. Just nice little blank cards. I have different color ones that I use and say, hey, you know, thanks for talking to me today. And slide it in my card, pop it in the mail. Done. The other thing that you want to do is get to know your market. You want to preview the homes. Preview the homes online, but preview the homes in person. Some people have professional pictures done. I love those pictures. And then some people have video, which is really nice. Then you got some houses that are so dark you can't even tell, and it's actually a really, really nice home. So go visit the property, get to know the property. That way when somebody calls you and they start describing to you what they're looking for, it'll click because you've already seen this particular property. Hey, you know what, this house is not necessarily in your price range, but everything you're telling me is exactly what this house is like. So, why don't you take a look at it and tell me if this is what you want to do, because people will change their mind about prices, you know. They're telling you, this is what I want, show them what they want. Now, if they can't afford it, then you say, you know, this is what you really want, but this is what you can afford. So you need to tell me which direction you want to go. Make them make the decision, not you make the decision for them, okay? So in Ignite, we want you to go ahead and complete your 10-4 daily. We want you to grow and manage your database, because by adding 10 people, like I said, by the end of the week, you'll have 50. If you do it for 4 weeks in a row, you'll have 200 people in your database. Once you have those people in your database, you can connect with them, either via email, via phone, write 10 notes, and then also visit 10 homes. If in Calusa, let's just say I've seen all the homes in Calusa, and that's the area that I do, but I want to know another area, I'll go to Sutter and take a look at those homes, or in Yuba City and look at those homes, or in Live Oak and look at those homes. Because that way, if somebody calls me, that I'm familiar with the area. Okay? The last thing you want to do is not know the area, especially if you're trying to know that area. The other way to do this is when you're in the My Keller Williams, KW.com, there is a tracker that looks like this. Ignite My Daily Tracker. So you can actually go in here and click on it and enter how many people you have contacted for that particular day. So it'll have the calendar and it'll keep track of it. It's just a way to get used to tracking your numbers, okay? How many people that I actually talked. And also, this will be tracked by Don as well. So he will actually be able to see everybody from the Ignite class who's doing their homework, who's actually putting their information in there. So if yours is showing 0, you need to say, go ahead and update your tracker. So make sure you go in here and track your activities. The other thing that we want to talk about is the sales of language, which is scripts. And everybody should have in their packet received an Ignite script book. It looks like this. Huh? Yeah, it's cool. Script is basically something like, being new to the industry, you may not know what to say. This book tells you what to say, how to say it in a way that's going to cause conversation and trust between you and the client. Did you find everything that you were looking for? Look around. Let me know if I can help you. Is this what you're looking for? Tell me a little bit about yourself. These are all just scripts. They're just words that we use, sentences that we say, phrases that we say to get the person to engage with us. And the more they trust us, the more we're going to have a relationship with them, and they're going to want to work with us. Okay, so now we're going to watch a video. Bear with me.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent in the office, your team leader, a MAPS coach, or of course Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to a desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there? Ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo. Oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily. Everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
Okay, we're going to be talking on page 36, the benefits of scripts. Scripts give us confidence to do our job. They allow us to stay focused and present at the moment. They provide consistency in what we say and do. What are some of the other benefits that are helpful using scripts?
You on track.
Correct. Very good. It makes us sound professional, right?
And
Stumbling over your words.
Yes.
it becomes natural after a while.
It becomes very natural after a while, yes. It gives us a rhythm of questions to ask without sounding like question 1, question 2, question 3, question 3. Sounds more of a conversation instead of going down a list of questions.
It's purposeful.
Exactly. Because we're trying to get as much information as we can without showing that we're trying to probe into the private life. These are all just professional questions, and it also shows that we're concerned about where they're going, moving to, why they're moving to, where they're moving to. Now there are some people that are afraid of scripts, which when I first looked at it, and I'm, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to memorize all of these. You don't need to memorize them all, but be purposeful on them. With my partner in scripts, we practice one script per month. We say it over and over again. But when we first start in the month, we're basically just almost reading the script. By the end of the month, it sounds like it's a conversation. The other thing that I like about scripts is that, and if it's the same one that you're repeating over and over again, is that you can challenge the other person by giving scenarios that are just off the wall. Because once in a while, you'll get an off the wall reaction from a buyer or a seller, and you're like, what do I say now? But because you practice it over on these off-the-wall questions, you start knowing what to not to expect, but at least know where to take the conversation next. And the script doesn't necessarily mean you have to go step by step, question 1, question 2, question 3, or maybe you have 10 questions. You don't have to say them all, but you can get the same result by asking maybe 5 of the 10 questions, because they sound like a conversation, and that person can probably, instead of getting a yes or no answer, you're going to get a description of what they really want, or what they're looking for, or what their needs are, or why they're moving, or why they're selling. Now, so let's look at what would be some of the questions that you would like to know about a person. How would you go about it? How would you ask them? Remember, like for instance, if you trying to sell somebody what kind of house do you want? And they have a big family, but you're not sure of that. You can't ask them if they're married. You gotta be careful of that. So how would you ask?
Do you have any kids?
I would just ask what their family size is.
Right. You can always ask, do you need different bedrooms for different, if you have boys or girls, so that you have different bedrooms. You're not asking, ages, you're not asking any of that. You're just asking what are your needs for the house, what's in your household. So, exactly.
Yeah.
How many are in your household? How many adults? Okay.
How many children?
Well, if you tell them how many in your household and they tell you how many adults, then the rest you usually know that they're children.
Yeah. Sometimes, you never know.
Yeah.
There might be adult children in the home.
Yeah, that's true. Now tell me 3 different things that could happen if you did not learn a script. What could happen?
You could lose a sale, or lose an appointment.
Right? You could lose an appointment.
You have to live with your parents for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's true.
You probably won't get the listing or sale.
You don't sound confident. You don't sound confident.
You don't sound like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get off track.
You get off track.
Talk about something else.
And then you're trying to remember, how was I supposed to ask next? And it doesn't sound like a flow. It sounds more like you're interviewing them instead of a natural relationship that you're trying to build. With scripts, you get to internalize it. Right at the beginning, it sounds just like you're reading it. But after a while, after getting used to it and saying it, and what's fun about doing scripts is that we've tried it. I say, let's go ahead and try it reading it and sitting down. Let's read them and standing up. Let's read it and smile. And it sounds very different. And the reason why I say sitting down is because chances are you probably will be either sitting down at the kitchen table. You want to get used to making it so when you stand up and actually talk and converse with somebody, it's a different atmosphere than if you're sitting down and conversing with that other person. Have you ever noticed that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but you want the sound when you're standing up, it sounds like you have more energy. You want that same sound when you're sitting down.
Opens up for you.
Yeah, you want that same sound because it makes you sound more confident. The same confidence that you have sitting down, you want it as if you were standing up. Okay? It does make a difference.
Another thing that we learned in Bold was to get a mirror.
Yes, a mirror. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A mirror and smile so that you get used to it. It's I have this thing that I used to say. I have a red button on my phone, and when I wanted to give client bad news, I would smile and say, "Hey, I have to discuss something with you," and I try to smile as much as I can because then the smile doesn't sound like such a bad news.
Well, they might get mad at you because they think it's funny. Right?
But it's really, sometimes it's really hard to give bad news over the phone. So I said, I don't want to sound so negative that there's no solution. Everything in real estate, there's a solution. As long as both parties want the mutual agreement to move forward, there's always a solution. We just have to find it.
It just takes time to.
Right, exactly. So what we want to do when you're reading scripts or practicing scripts, you want to read it, and you don't want to change it. Just read it. just read it and try to remember, memorize it. So you want to repeat it. Here it's saying that you need to say the sentences 5 times with a huge smile on your face, because the tonality changes when you have a smile on your face. Read it the second time out loud while smiling. And then say it out loud, but don't try to do it off of memory. And then you only want to do 1 or 2 lines at first, and then after a while you want to add another line until you're able to say the script by memory. So if you do, the way you can memorize it is just like by doing step 1 through 6 and memorizing the scripts. Now you also want to use the script that you believe is the best one for you for that particular moment. I'm focusing more on listing, so I'm focusing more on listing presentation scripts, on qualifying sellers. So those are the ones I practice the most. With the buyers, I feel pretty confident enough that I don't, at this moment, not to go back to those, but I want to perfect the listing presentations. So those are the ones that I'm doing. But if you're working with buyers, you want to take a look at the ones that are for buyer consultation, because we do want them to sign that agreement. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to practice some scripts. And there's one already on page 41. We're going to read the one that says on page 42. So we're going to go ahead and all read it out loud, but where it says, hello, this is, we're just going to say KW, okay? So that we can all say it together. We're going to do it slow. So we're going to start with, hello, this is KW. You guys can read with me. Do you have a moment?
What page is this on?
This is on page 42 of your book, of the booklet. Not your script, not your script booklet. It's on page 42. Found it? Okay. So we're going to start. Hello, this is KW. Do you have a moment? It's been a while, and I'd like to apologize for not staying in touch. I've been busy growing my real estate business and working with great clients like you. I wanted to share with you that I have a personal goal to help family get into the home during this year. As you already know, I'll do whatever it takes to help people. May I count on you to help me reach my goal? So right now it sounds kind of, choppy. So we want to practice and say that out loud at least 10 times. And then we want to go ahead and start memorizing. Once we start memorizing, then we can start using our own words, okay? Don't change the words until you've memorized it, because it could get choppy when you're trying to do the actual presentation. Okay? So we are going to go to another video and then we'll do some calls. Okay?
Hi, Kevin. It's Chris Heller with Keller Williams Realty, your favorite real estate agent. Hey, I was calling real quickly. Just wanted to see if you have any real estate plans coming up that I can help you with. I didn't think so. I know you love the home and love the neighborhood. Hey, who do you know that is going to be looking to buy or sell a home that I might be able to help? I appreciate you giving that thought. If you do come across someone, do you promise you'll let me know? We recently came out with our own app, and it's a great real estate app. In fact, it's the best app out there. I use it all the time, and I've used all the others. It's free. There's no cost. Give me your cell phone number, and I'm going to text you the link to it. Download it. You can keep up on what's going on in your neighborhood. If your neighbor's home goes on for sale, you can see what they're asking for. Or if you happen to be out and about and drive by any home, open up the app, and that home, they'll show up so you'll know exactly what's going on with it. Would you like that? Great. I'm going to text you the link right now. Well, do me a favor. Two things. Number one, if you do hear of someone that has a real estate need, would you keep me in mind? Great. And secondly, after you download the app and try it out, send me a text and let me know how you like it. Thanks a lot, Kevin. I appreciate you.
That easy, huh?
That was a good one. Where'd you find that one?
That is actually, one of those videos is actually on one of your missions that was before this class started.
Oh, so the first mission. It's on the first one.
You should be, yeah.
I didn't get through every one of them.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have kind of slow internet.
They're all in the KWU Connect.
Yeah, I know how to find. I've been on it.
If you
So,
want,
under mission 1.
it's under Real Play Calling Mets. So if you go on to KW Connect, you can just do the search and put in there Calling Mets, no, Real Play Calling Mets. Mm-hmm.
But it was like the homework for this class? Were you saying that?
Yes.
So that's also under, that would also be under Ignite Series Power Session 1.
Yes, it should be on there.
Mission 1.
Mhm. When you're calling your database or calling potential clients or potential people that you know might have leads, you want to come from contribution. And because when you come from contribution, people welcome your calls. They are happy to get a call. You know, when you get a call out of the blue from a friend you haven't talked to in a while, doesn't that make you feel good? So you go in there with that mentality, they are actually going to feel good about me calling them because I have something I can provide. If I can't help them, maybe I can help somebody else that is looking to buy or sell real estate. And I want them to know that I thought of them, you know, that they would be a good source for me to rely on. So, and they love it. People want to feel like they are wanted, that they are needed, and for whatever reason, they will, if you come with that mentality in there from contribution, they will be more open to your phone call. All right, so we're going to go and make contact at least 3 people. If you want to, go ahead and practice the script, whichever ones that you feel more comfortable with, between pages 40 and 42. There's some that are reminding people that you're in real estate. That might be a good one for you. Somebody who's brand new, just got their license, would be a good one, depending if that's your status. And I too will be making some phone calls as well, okay? So if you have anybody, we can stay in the room here to make the phone calls. We just need to get used to making phone calls. So everybody go ahead and get your phones out and do that. What we're trying to get, our purpose for is to get 1 referral and get at least 1 person to download our KW mobile app, okay?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Is this the app here? Or
Yeah. That's it. Now, are you on KW? Are you on my KW yet or no? Do you have your email set up?
Yeah, no, I don't have to set up yet.
Okay. You're going to need to set up your email.
I do have a password.
Do you have a password? Okay. When you set up your profile, there's going to be a little link that you can send to your client.
Oh, yeah.
Once you're set up, it'll look like this.
Oh.
This is mine,
I bubble.
and then there's a share the app. I can text it to whoever, but I need to be set up. I need mine, yours, yours needs to be like this. And then let's say, I'll give you an example. So if I'm going to share this one, and I'm going to text it to you. What's your phone number?
530-301-3851.
3851.
So you plug these
So
out of this.
it sends you a link, but without you setting up your profile in my KW, you won't be able to submit it. That's me. So if you download it, that would be me. So that's what you'd be sending them.
So I gotta go into,
Hi, Dave, this is Sarah, how are you?
Do the profile, make an appointment.
Hi, is Lynn available?
I can show you how to do that.
What?
Make sure you do it.
This is Sarah.
how do we get the?
Hi, Dave,
the way
it's
to send
okay.
out?
Share out.
Wow.
So you
Oh, training how to go to the dentist, okay.
Thank you. I didn't know that was the way.
Yeah, I'm just doing a practice script, for my,
I mean to ask Joe
a
about it.
practice script.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm doing a practice script for my Keller Williams, and I just wanted to talk to her and use her as one of my helpers. Okay, Dave, that sounds great, thanks. Okay, bye.
Anybody have luck sharing their app or letting people know that you're in real estate?
Somebody's answering.
The calling with the scripts is actually your 20%. Everything that we've been discussing about doing, talking about 80-20, the actual phone call, the messaging, contacting people, that's the 20% that we need to work on. That's 20% of this business. By not having the phone or the courage to call the person on the other side, and practicing the scripts helps us to make those phone calls. That's the 20%. That's what's going to pay us. That's our job. Without doing that, we're not going to have the paperwork. We want the paperwork, but we can't get the paperwork until we get the phone call, until we get the lead. So the act of actually making the phone call, it sounds like it's the hardest thing, but actually it'll become easier and easier and easier after you work on it. But it's the one thing that if you're going to get anything out of this whole class, is make the phone call. Just make the phone call. Some people aren't on phone call, but make the text. Some people are not the text, or the email. Make the email. You have to reach out. They're not going to come to you. There is no storefront. So they're walking in and going to sit down and ask you to write an offer. Okay? They're not going to do that. You got to tell people and give people permission to call you. You can't give them permission if you don't connect with them, right? So you got to connect with them. I give you permission to tell me when you know somebody that's looking to buy or invest in real estate, or somebody who's thinking of selling their house. I'm giving you permission to call me because I want to be able to help them. I want to be able to help them because I'm experienced, or I have an office of experienced people that can help you sell that house. We don't want, if you really like your friend, we don't want them to be suffering with a weak agent. I'm a very strong agent. All right, and I have an office full of very strong agents that can help me if I need to help you. If you want the very best, I'll give you permission to call me when you know somebody that has a house. Or even if you want something, if you're looking to buy or sell, call me first. I give you permission. 20%. That's all we have to do is just 20%. Focus on 20%. Get it? 20%. That's what we really, all of this is to change your mind. It's not the writing of the contract. There's videos. There's YouTube videos on how to fill out a contract. Or ask somebody like Joe how to fill out a contract. That's not going to get you the money. It's not going to get you a paycheck. It's the 20% of communicating to other people that you're in the business of real estate.